Say hello to my little friends. Okay, I will admit that was kind of cheesy, and I'm going to set this up here and change the view just a little bit because I'm going to explain what's going on. I have in my classroom what I call my emotional support stuffed animals. It initially started off with a skunk. Now I have a bear, I have a couple of cows, and I've got a worm, and the one that I don't have in here, unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time, is the goldfish. And I'll explain a little bit more about that one in just a minute. But what are these emotional support animals, you might ask? Well, a little over a year ago, I had one of these sit in my classroom, and I had a young lady in my class who was just struggling one day. Brought the skunk over to her, handed it to her, and said, "Hey, did you need to cuddle? Did you need to hold on to this?" And she did, and it became a thing. And since then, it's grown. I've purchased some of these. Some of these I had at home. Some of them students have brought in for me. Been birthday gifts, things like that. So here's what happens with this. When a student, whatever gender it is, that doesn't matter. It's typically been the girls, but that's just what it's been at this point. And who knows what it'll be in the future. But whenever a student is having a problem, a struggle, an emotional day of whatever that may be, they are free to come in and grab one of those animals off the shelf. Okay? When they do that, it's a two-way promise. My promise to them is that I will check on them, find out how their day is going, if there's anything they need from me, if there's anything I can do to help them. Their promise to me is that not only will they answer that truthfully, but that they will pay attention in class. My promise again to them becomes, okay, as long as you're paying attention, I'm not going to call on you. You got a day where you need to just kind of not to some degree. So the students will have that. Now, sometimes that means that they're in the counselor's conference room and they're just struggling with something that day, with stress or life or whatever's going on. We don't always know what that is, but they're in there and the counselors tell us, hey, let's take care of this student. So I'll walk over with one of the animals, just kind of drop it off to them. I've had students come in from other classes and borrow it. I had one come in, I had a student from last year, the student came in when I was in the lecture hall, walked up to me and said, "Keys." Handed over the keys, the student went down to the classroom, came back. I had a feeling I knew what they were going to do, so it was okay. They come walking back in, handed me the keys, carrying one of the emotional support animals, walked out, had it for the rest of the day, came back, gave it to me at the end of the day. They just needed a moment. Last year when we had the blood drive, I had a student, ironically enough, a nursing student, who was giving blood for the first time. Extremely nervous. This cow got her through giving blood. Carried it with her, held it while they were giving blood, carried it with her a little bit afterwards, good to go. Now I mentioned the goldfish that I don't have, and what's going on with that? It was a birthday gift from my nephew, Roman, who lives out in California. Shout out to Roman, he's watching there. This particular student lost a family member pretty tragically and suddenly, and were struggling. So I actually sent this goldfish home with them, and they've had it for about a week now, but it's been something that's needed to help them through the hard time. So it's just something simple. It's something to take care of stuff. So whether that's the skunk, whether it's the cow, the goldfish, whatever that might be, these emotional support stuffed animals have been a game changer within my classroom.